Hi, how are we doing? It's been a moment and it's been a minute to be here and to have this live session. But I'm just going to go right into the conversation of the reason why I am having to do this. Was unplanned, right? Even my team, they didn't know that I was going to go live today, but hey, I have to do it because I can't just let it slide. And for those of you who know me, you already know that there are certain matters when it comes to people, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to career, that I would hardly let slide. I have in the last minute just titled this conversation as the monster called survivor. If you're a business person or you are a career enthusiast, this is a video, a life that you want to be part of and you want to share with others, right? There is a recent conversation going around in the media, and it's something that is really, it's one that hits deep. And in as much as we want to go around the conversation, I think it's the founder of MONIEPOINT. We've seen the video, so I'm not going to be sharing the video here, but because it's all over the internet, the founder of MONIEPOINT, a big fintech organization, Mr Tosin. And in that conversation, in what he has said, had really spiraled into different conversation from people on the internet. And in everyone's opinion, I think even Mr. Tosin himself is quite right. And everyone's opinion about what the video that he made during his session, the comment he made around the Nigerian labor force and how he's really very disappointed. And others have also come out to share their opinion, right, about the conversation that he had on the platform, a session that took place recently. Now, the platform is, I think, the first edition of the platform. I was opportune to be there. They've been consistent. The people around, the organizers of that program, and I think it's something that, well, if it was in a different climate, would have made more impact, but it's still making its impact as it were. Now, we had Mr. Tosin as one of the guest speakers at that event and other renowned guest speakers that were at the event at the time. But why am I making this video and why am I centering? Why did that get to me in the way it did? First is it's about the people and the culture and the region. There were times ago, if you would bear me witness, there are times 2-3 years ago, I'd made several videos around the career people that we've got, the business ecosystem, and how we as Africans should wake up and show up for ourselves, right? Because the world is going to heavily rely on this region, not because, of course, for the obvious factors. I'm not going to digress from the conversation that I'm having today, right? But 3 quotes that I would make, and if you go into my page and you go deep down, right down into the earlier age when I started getting into social media, there are quotes that are very consistent you would find, all right? And the first is, so today's conversation, I'm going to shape it into 3 broad categories. And of course, I can't have all of them in this one live session. So I'm going to talk about one of the 3. And I've titled this live as the monster called survival, because it seems everything that can go wrong around the subject survival. Now, back to the 3 quotes. The first is the fundamental one. If the foundation is faulty, if the foundation is faulty, how then can the building stand? Let's look at that critically, right? We will do that in a second. And then the second broad subject that I could really tag all that is going on right now into context would be the issue around accountability. I said the first one is about the foundation, which is, and I gave a quote, and it's a quote that we all know so well. If the foundation is faulty, how then can the building stand? And then the second broad contextual subject that I would want to classify all that is going on around the world right now is accountability. And if anyone is here and you've taken any of my courses before, you would know that the first thing we really want to talk about before we delve really into the core of the conversation is the issue around self-awareness, right? Is the issue around knowing thyself, the value, your value system, what are your core values, and how out of that comes every other thing that you can offer to the entire world, right? And we do this program every January, or most of the time. We've had a first episode. We haven't had time to have other sessions, which is centered around self-awareness. If you don't know self, what do you think you can offer? Because out of you, right, would come what you give. Your values are centered around your core. What is your makeup? And if you don't understand your makeup in the context of being aware, how then can you impact the environment around you? The second conversation is the accountability. And if you define accountability, it's the intention and the integrity around owning your actions, your inactions, your omissions. But that's the most important part of it. Your action is okay. Owning your actions, the things that you do, right? Can you own up to them? The things that you did not do, can you own up to them? The things you omitted doing, can you equally own up to them? Accountability is the second contextual word or subcategory that I would like to classify that on that. And then the third one is self-sabotage. You see the word sabotage, in as much as we claim to understand what that is, it's way deeper. And often than not, we find ourselves at the core of sabotage as humans, right? I'll try and talk about the first one, which is the foundation, and then I'll leave the other two. Maybe if I've got time to talk about the other two. So Mr. Tosin made something, the MD of CEO, he made a statement in the entire video, which I'm not going to play. Like I said, it's all over in the internet. He made a video, and I shared it with my team this morning, and I kept seeing other opinions, right, around the video, which are actually very right. Everyone is coming from different angles, and there are opinions that are also very valid. But you see, even Mr. Tosin's opinion about the labor, the workforce, is equally right to an extent. But we see, if we decide as a people not to be accountable, then we would not see the value in its entirety in what he was saying. But then again, before I go to the plausibility or the positive side of the things that we should have taken out, the lessons that we should have taken out of that conversation, I would first point out what was his fundamental error. Now, if he has grown in the environment called Nigeria and has also done his research into the dynamic of the workforce in the African region, he would realize that first and foremost, the workforce in itself cannot stand really to context at a certain level. And this is not because they don't desire to. This is because they, as graduates, take for instance, as graduates from the universities, any university or any international, any tertiary institution in Nigeria, for instance, every graduate is coming out with a defect. It's given. Every graduate that is coming out of our institution is coming out with a gap. And this was the reason I had to go on a campaign to train the trainers. So people, if you understand that you have spent about 5 years in your area or in your career path, you should be able to hold someone else and bring them up, because really the time is so fast that no employer is actually looking for the right workforce right now or has the patience for people to have the experience they require the moment they get out of school. It happened to me. How much more people now? Right? In the era of technology, we find that a lot of people things are going on quite fast. People want more results real quick and gotten even faster than they could realize. Now, but the thing around our educational system is the reason why a lot of us graduates, myself inclusive, would come out, fresh graduates, with a defect is because our educational system is far behind. And because we are not naturally accountable people, the things our leaders were meant to be doing are not being done, and no one is being accountable for that. The things that we have omitted doing, we are not accountable for that. The things that we are doing and equally doing wrongly, we are not accountable for that. No one wants to be accountable. The conversation around the fundamental, where he has gone wrong, is not realizing that everyone a lot of us in the market space, in the labor market, would have come out with a defect, a gap in knowledge, a gap in experience, and in a gap in the technical know-how. How many of our universities or international or tertiary institutions are well equipped to give us what we require, to meet up to the standard of the global standard? You want a global standard. You are being delusional to say that. Sorry for the word that is being used, but that in its actual sense was actually what it is. You don't expect a graduate that comes out of that sort of institution to meet up or brace up to this required standard that you were looking for. At the point you were making the decision in 2024 to say you want to employ strictly local labor to compete with the international standard, what then did you do? What system do you have in place to ensure that the labor force that you are acquiring right now can meet the standard of what you're looking for, what you are up against? What system do you have in place? And of course, when I mean system around knowledge, system around technical know-how, and system around support. What support? So you expecting them on their own knowledge, their experience, to match up with the international standard? What are the yardstick even? How do you even make such a comparison? The fundamental issue is not that you did not get the right force. That's another conversation. You got the people, but what? You cried the entire 2025. Why? Because you failed to realize or acknowledge the fundamental issue that we have as a people. The environment where we have had to study. For those who are called themselves graduate today, there is a defect that is right there. What the right ones are doing, the ones who aspire to be someone in life, is they are retraining themselves. They are unlearning a lot of cultures. They are taking up upon themselves, not because, I take for instance, at the point I started my career, I had it really tough, and everyone knows the story. The story is out there, right? I had it tough. But then again, did I take the fact that I went to a public school all through my life? So don't think that I had it all soft. No, it wasn't soft. But the intention to grow self, the intention to grow knowledge, the intention to fill the gap that I think were staring in front of me became what I had in mind. Should I want to grow? Should I not want to be treated as I am being treated right now? This is not where I want to be. It has to take that self-determination, because really someone said in their video that employers are nothing in that region to write home about. And I completely agree, because I had a first-hand experience of what employers can do to people. And I say again in my quotes, and if you go down my page, you will find it. Until employees are happy to wake up and show up for you at work, you are not ready to be in business in that region. When you cry and say that the labor force is in a terrible state and they cannot compete with the international standard, I do not give to the fact that we don't have our own response. Like I said to someone, every single person, the blame would go round. We are all accountable. We are all responsible for the reality of what it is right now. If you as a professional, you are not leading in your career path, you don't have anyone else to hold responsible, you have yourself to blame. Because if you fix you will fix the environment around you. And guess what? You can't give from what you do not have. And we talk about value. Right now, we're talking about the foundation. I can't talk about the other two because we would stay here the entire day. And I was saying to someone this morning in my office, I said, how do I put all of the things I want to say under 1 hour? And for everyone that has taken my course before, you would realize that what I'm saying to you right now are literally along all. You will find them in every single course, whether it's a foundational level, a mid-level, or at the CEO level, because we have up to leadership level. Whatever it is, even if you are taking a leadership course, you would do self-evaluation first. Why? Because I understand what it is, the environment that We all are growing out of. But you see, the unique thing about us, which is our fundamental resilience, we've got certain building blocks that if we harness them, if we take critical account of these and work on them, we'll be better. The competition is not there for us. We can be better. Is our foundation faulty? Absolutely yes. Is one person to be blamed? No. Is everyone responsible? Yes. We are, everyone inclusive. You blame the government, that's okay. You blame your parents, that's okay. You blame the culture, that's okay. You blame the people, your neighbors, that's equally okay. But what's not okay is not blaming yourself. That's not okay. You are equally responsible. Yes, you have an education system. You went to university. Your parents were able to train you. Good. You are now a graduate, and then you got employed, and you sat there and think that your employer is going to make it happen for you. It's not. And because they did not make it happen for you, you were not sent for training. Oh, some of them, even when they send you for training, you still don't take the training seriously. We have corporate training going on, and you find that even the team are not as enthusiastic as the employer. The employer, you have your own as well. Is the blame enough to go around? Absolutely yes. And if we think that some part of it should be excluded, then we are making a grievous mistake. For businesses, the culture is equally impacting you. Our leaders, oh well, that's another conversation. Let's just go past that, right? But you see, as a people, we can do better. You don't need your government to tell you to go and take a course online. You don't need your government to come and tell you, oh, if you need to get out of the state, and that's why I call survivor is a monster. We have all now weaponized survival and using that as an escape route. How did we become these people? Survival has always been a thing. But if you don't rise above it, you are creating a monster and telling yourself, I could have been better if I was in the US, if I was born in another region. Stop deluding yourself. This is what you have. You can't create you. You found yourself in Africa. Rise up to the challenge that is in front of you. People are making it happen. If I had gone to a private university, a private school, I would have said, maybe because I had a soft background. But I don't. So I have the right to equally stand here and speak to you. I did not become who I am today by blaming any singular person. I didn't blame my parents. I didn't blame my siblings. I didn't blame my government. I didn't blame my employer because actually I think that they made me better. Did they treat me right? Absolutely not. And this is the reason I say to employers, you see, until you are at the point where employees can own their own, just wake up, they're happy to show up at work, you are not ready. Let's take the issue around survival again. Let's go round about it. Yes, we all need to survive. And I was saying to someone analyzing this whole issue, and I said, survival is a thing and it is real. I won't even downplay that. I know the impact of what that pressure to wake up every day to find a roof over your head and have a meal to eat, something, survival, life. I know that pressure. But what I'm saying to you is, don't let it define your life. Do not let that define who you become. Don't let the situation write your story. Pick up your pen. Pick up your book. Write who you want to become and be intentional around that. Nobody can make you happen for you. Is there survival all over the world? Yes. At different levels, there is survival issue everywhere. Don't get me wrong. Right? I know there are people who can't even afford, and we talk about affordability. Let's go back, like we said, this is the foundation. Back in the day when a child is growing up, it's the responsibility of every single person in Africa. I don't know about the Western world. I didn't grow up there. But I know about this. I learned about the Western world because I had to study and research. But you see, back in the day, a parent is not around, the neighbor is responsible for that child. Back in the day, a neighbor can equally be that corrective guardian to that child growing up, right? The society was part of raising up the child. You can say he made comparison. We'll go back to what Mr. Tosin said. He made a comparison around the people of China who is up against. I have worked with literally everyone from around the world, so I can tell the different people and I can tell what it is Africans have. I can tell what the Asians have. I can tell what the Europeans have because I've literally worked with all of them. He said something. He is comparing us in Africa to those in China. The one question I'll pose back to us, all of us, like I said, this is not about Mr. Tosin, right? To all of us is there one culture that has been consistent from the days of old till now? Is there one singular culture that is left that we picked up from our forefathers? Oh, it has been passed on from generation to generation that is still prevalent today in our day and time that we still hold on to. But you talk about the China, you talk about the Chinese people. If you study the Chinese, there is a culture that is persistent and still consistently held on till today. There is a culture that is known by the Chinese people. Can you say that about us? All we can say today is, oh, back in the day, oh, our parents used to, oh. Now technology came when our culture was almost gone. What can you find on the internet right now? When you bring out a post and you talk about an educational content, it doesn't make any wave. No one will be here today. You would likely see that the people that will be on this live will be as few, right? But if it's about the wrong things, we will find millions of people on that live stream. Why? What we hold as if our value system is now questionable. This is not even about our educational system that is all way back. This is not about what the government is doing for you or not doing for you. This is about our value system right now. What is the new culture of the Nigerian person, of the African right now? We said back in the day we were sold to slavery. Did we say that? Have we now? When I said something, I said the third category is about the self-sabotage. That is slavery, if you don't know. And I hope I can get there in another video. Not today. Today we'll talk about the foundation, which is our culture, our education, and we as a people. If you go, the Nigerians, like I said, we have the building blocks to be better and to compete on any stage. Any stage. We have that ability. We have the building blocks. But you see, if we don't put it together and put it to use, we can't compete at those levels. Someone once said, one of my sisters once said, she said, please, can you stop studying so that the books that my children will have to read, you would not have read all of them? I actively seek knowledge. You have to seek it. I have just upgraded our academy, Engineering Academy, to an AI-powered, an academy that is one of its kind, built by the Engineering brand for Africans. But the first university to approach me is not a university from Nigeria. It's a university from Kenya. And it's not even a state university. It's an international university from Kenya. What does that say about us as a people? Yes, your foundation was good. Wasn't good. The university was terrible. You have every opportunity right now to learn. We give out free education, free trainings every single time. If someone come online to advertise a free training, how many people would you find in attendance for a free training? We've talked about AI and we've given AI the cheapest way for 1,000 naira. How many people can we find in class to take the AI training? A program that was put together from a knowledge that was gotten. How many people? I said the blame can go around and every single one of us are all accountable. Back in the day, we used to tell moonlight stories. If you don't experience these stories, how can someone tell you the stories? You read to your kids, you read the stories to your kids. You pick up a book and read with them. How many of those reading cultures do we still have? The moonlight storytelling do we still have today? Oh, we have leaders, we have role model. Back in the day, they used to ask us, who is your role model? Who are you looking up to? If I ask for those of us that have joined live today, who is actually your role model? We are all accountable and we're responsible for what is going on right now. But there's something I will leave us with, and I will say this. You can become whoever you choose to become. Whoever you choose to become. And you can compete anywhere in this world. When as an employee back in the day, I used to say that no one could really pay me for how I work. And I heard my sister saying it very, very recently, that you can't pay me because I work the way I work. No one can really pay me. And I was happy to hear that. No one. Money can really not. You can't put a value to the value that you give if you truly give out value. We have built an academy for Africans to a standard where you have everything. You have a digital library, you have your personal AI assistant, you have a burnout clinic to have access to a coach if you're having issues with your work in your workplace. But how many of us Africans can take up that to say, oh, we have something, and yet someone built by a Nigerian, but the first university to reach out to that academy is a Kenyan. It's sad. Right, but we can do better. Tell us a story that can inspire us. And it happened again recently, and it keep happening every time I have to be at an event. I was at an event somewhere. I saw the event on LinkedIn, and I said, if it has to do with Africa, or it has to do with impact, right? And this organization, they are for the Asian region and then African region as well. I thought to be at that event, and when I was at the event, I could say I was the only black lady at the time. Right? But I later found out there was another lady who was equally there. But at the time I started, I was like, oh, I'm the only colored person here. But you see, it's not about that. When the presentation, it was because it's about the region that I come from and Asia. And I was listening to all the wonderful project or impact project that they were having, right, in the region. And I was very excited. And something happened in all of their presentation. They have come to create an impact, but I could tell that the impact is not something that is sustainable, which is their mission, because their mission is an investment for impact and sustainability. And I can't find the sustainability in the impact that they have brought. And I couldn't take it, because they will go around the narrative and say, oh, we did that, we did this in this region, right? I had to question it. I stood up and I asked them a question. What is your mission in these regions? Because if you are for impact and for sustainability, all I see the impact that you bring, but I can't see what is sustainable here. What you have done is to bring a whole lot of good, but alongside you brought the devil with you. So that's not sustainable. And at that point, what they said to me is, Jennifer, we don't even have a solution to that. What they said to me is, because I put it to them, have you ever defined what sustainability will be? Because what you can't define, you can't measure. So if you haven't defined it, then you can't measure it. And if you can't measure it, of course, it's not important to you. There is no result that is going to be tangible. And it's why the result is obviously not here. And it's why I had to put the question to them. And they don't have a solution to that. And you say that Nigerians are not what? What? If Mr. Tosin is listening, he needs to put a system in place for consistent training. And the one thing that would be good to him is that he puts training in place to train the workforce that he has gotten. And I give you another story, a lot of stories, right? But what I said to you about that conference is, know your value and know your worth and bring it to bear. And at that international stage, no one can compete with the knowledge that you bring to bear. Please take that home. For another client who came, we're currently about to train them. It's a corporate organization in the healthcare space, and they came for a training. But before the training, I did ask them, what is it you want to get? Because if you don't understand what you need to get out of this training, then it cannot be tailored. All our corporate trainings are tailored to meet the organizational needs. And if Mr. Tosin is saying today to me that he has actually put a training system, in place, a budget in place to train his workforce, then he has trained wrongly. Because it's not about the total curriculum. It's about identifying the gap in your workforce and fixing exactly that gap. And when the corporate organization came, the training has not taken place right now. They ought to have started this month, but it hasn't. Why? We had to put a pause to see who do they have as a workforce. Not everyone who can speak the general language can interact with your clients, can be part of your organization. You have to be intentional. Who have you recruited? Who came through on the interview day? And at that time, what were you people doing? I've had to employ people in my organization, not because of their knowledge, but because of what I see. Not because of the state of where they are right now, but because of the value that I see in them. I give you an example. There was one student, I was looking for an editor, a video editor, and he came for the interview and he said he's got the skill, but again, it doesn't meet the requirement, but he came anyway for the interview. He doesn't have the required years of experience that we're looking for. He's still an undergraduate. I was curious, but again, we employed him and they employed the person that we really needed. We employed him because we knew he could grow in our organization. Not because we needed him, but because we saw the talent in him. He was just an undergraduate studying something else, but he had the passion for tech and video editing, and we took him in. I think at the time, so my husband actually even paid for a program for him to attend. That's to tell you how glaring his talent was. Because I'm an employer and I'm looking at cost and I can't let that go. And that's the role of an employer. You are an employer, you are meant to fix the broken system, not smile or not celebrate the mediocrity that we have. Mr. Tosin, I'll put it back to you. When you cried the entire 2025, did you fix the broken system that you met as a workforce? What did you do? Did you throw them out? When an employee is coming into my organization, I say them 3 reasons you would be out of this organization. The first is you don't have the right values, because we're very big on values. It's about integrity, the first thing on our core value. If you don't have that, if you tell me a lie, you are out of my organization. That means you don't hold the same values that I hold. I don't want to question that, oh, my staff is going to tell a lie to my clients. I don't want to have that burden. So I cut you off. The second reason you'll be out of the organization is that you refuse to grow. Because again, knowledge is our second core value. You have to seek it. If the organization outgrows you, you are out. And you would know clearly that you are out because you refuse to grow. There is every opportunity for you to grow because we seek out for the growth of our employees. And then the third reason you would leave my organization is that you outgrew the organization. So you are now bigger than big. We can't have you anymore. Those are the 3 reasons how an organization or how an employee would leave the Ingenium brand. The same thing with the Astute brand. You see, you have to be of value. As an employer, your role is not just to pay someone's salary to give you value. It has to be a partnership. And in my first book, the first book I ever wrote, and I said, it's about people over profit. The employee-employer relationship should be that of a partnership. That is the reason today. See, I am not seeing my employees as employees. Rather, I see them as my future business partners. Ask them. If you find them anywhere, I develop them because I want to work with them even after they've left the organization. And it is why we ask them all the time, what do you want to become? What is your vision? Do you want to become an employer tomorrow? We grow you in that path. And if you come into the organization and for a reason, for a role, and it ends up that you are skilled in another part of you, we bring that out. And then we say, we throw you into the ocean and allow you to swim out. And see how can you survive. We are the shore, we'll catch you, we will save you, we are your lifeguards. So when you go into entrepreneurship, what is your mission above solving a problem? The people that would solve the problem, what is your vision for them? At the moment, my designer was part of our team. He left Ingenium, set up his business, now he's consulting for Ingenium. We don't kid. We have to be intentional of the sort of impact that we want to create in our society. We have to be intentional. And guess what? He doesn't just consult for me alone. He consults for all of Ingenium clients. Be intentional about the people who work for you. Be intentional about them. I had it rough as an employee, but you see, it cannot deter me from the path that I want to follow, or the path of, I understand self and I understand what my mission and a vision is. See, my life purpose is clear before me and I don't joke around it. If you're around me, you have to learn. You can't meet me and live the same way you have met me. No, it's not possible. And if you are in the organization and I'm telling you to resign tomorrow, you clearly know why you are resigning. We can be having a conversation. I'm telling you, you know you are resigning. The fact that you have left my organization doesn't mean that we have stopped being friends. We have to be intentional. Mr. Tosin, I'll put it back to you. There was a time I really wanted to train the MONIEPOINT customer service, because I say it one day that the problem with our banking sector, it's not because we don't have the technology, we've not invested in systems, it's because we have not invested in the human capital. The reason why the bank customers today are very aggrieved, it's not because of the system. It's not because you don't have technology. It's because the people behind it, they are nothing. They don't meet the expectation of the customers. If there is service breakdown, how should they? In fact, they wear the role as though they're doing you a favor more than it is you are doing to them as a customer. People need to rise up to the occasion to do what is right for the benefit of the society and the benefit of the people in there. Else, we would have ourselves to blame. Truth is, we cannot exonerate anyone from the blame right now about the labor force, about the deterioration of our culture and what is now tenable in our society. We all contributed to what we're seeing today. Let's not be even kid. But again, because the system is broken, you have to rise above that. Oh, we see on the internet, there are different factions. Oh, we hear that there are the city boys, city girls, and the different factions around leadership. And you ask yourself, why can't education be free as it used to be? I am not political. I don't get in that space, but I see what's going on. And I am very pained. And I hear how they spend so much money into campaigns. And I'm asking myself, what's the value really of campaign? If you do what is right, you don't need to spend so much money on campaign. The people either say you stay or you stay. If they say go, you go. We spend the money. So this is about the value system. We spend money in things that would not impact the society. We spend so much money. Did you hear the budget for campaign? The budget for 2027 campaign. Why can't education be free for the people, the people who can't afford it, to still be able to go to school and come into the society and impact our society? Why can't education be free? If we have so much money to spend to throw into politics, why can't we take out school fees and let the average man, let the poor be able to find the corners? Why can't we pay our teachers so well so they don't deal with the issue of survival? Because the teacher is just thinking about it. I'll come spend the 9 to 5 here teaching the children, and I'll go home to what? To nothing? You don't pay us salary in time. You pay us peanuts as salaries. Let's even talk about the pay. Mr. Tosin, again, I'm sorry that you have to be the subject of conversation right now. But you said, what? They can't compete. Do you know what the Nigerian people are dealing with? They're dealing with survival. They're dealing with first, the pressure. You see, taking Nigerian out of the Nigerian environment and put them in another environment, they do so well. Why? They don't have to deal with the issue of what? Surviving, what to eat, because what to eat is readily available. You can find food to eat. The pressure you deal with at that point, it is the pressure to be what? Your career relevance. Because if you don't meet up, if you don't catch up, you'll be out of the job. That's the pressure. But you see, put the same person in the Nigerian system, what would they have to deal with? They have to deal with what to eat first. So by the time they take out what they have and then go feed, you find that they have nothing else. They don't have the time to think of any other thing. They don't have the pressure they deal with. They're different. Yes, if you put a Nigerian outside, they'll do better. But if you put them into the water, they will die. Because the same, talk about the minimum wage. What is the minimum wage they pay? I always say to my team, I can't pay you enough. I can't pay you enough. But what I will give to you, if you are diligent to learn, you can't spend a month in the organization and not pick up a new skill. Why? Because we want you to go out there tomorrow and become a better employer. I would ask a question today. How many of us entrepreneurs can exit your organization for 90 days and come back to it without it collapsing. That's a culture that I do in my organization. I exit 90 days. I'm out. I come out of the organization for 90 days and I allow them to struggle and survive. I allow them to struggle. I watch them. They are all in the middle of the ocean. I'm trying to see how they swim out of that. 90 days. As an employer, how many of us can step out of our organization for 90 days and not faint when you come back? We have to be intentional as a people. No one is going to, there is no savior coming. There is no savior. I say casually, for everyone who works in my organization, they should be paying me and not me paying them. Because the organization gives you more than you give. But you see, it's about impact and influence. They go out there and I am their first client. You know how hard it is to get one client when you start up a business? I am their first client. We have to do better as a people, right? Our foundation is faulty. We need to tell ourselves. Survival is a monster we have now weaponized. We have to outgrow that. No savior is coming. Look inward. Tell yourself, I am going to rise about the reality of the environment. Someone would think that I don't know what I'm saying. I do. I just told you, my background was very not soft. I didn't know there is no soft in the background. I went to all my education, public school, even my university, Delta State University, Abraka. That's where I studied. My cousin used to say back then, it is a glorified secondary school. But yeah, that's where I studied. But where I am today, where am I today? You have to be intentional. The system has given you what the system can give you. What can you do about it? Nothing. The only reward you can give yourself is to rise above it and be better and come back to fix that system. Come back to fix the system. Are we having this cultural issue? Even Nigerians, even migrants that are in international regions, we as astute, we are fixing a lot of cultural issues that migrant entrepreneurs are having to deal with. The system does not allow you to use your personal fund, but personal fund really can make the business scale and grow. But what we find, because you are trying to invade tasks, you've picked up some very bad cultures and it's not letting you access the funding that is available in the system. There's a lot of funding in the system. In fact, the government doesn't even want you to use your personal fund to start or grow any business. The funding is available, but can you access it? You find Nigerians, you find Africans, you find Asians, you find people, the Pakistanis, they can't access the money in the system. Why? They don't understand business culture. They don't know the sort of culture to put up. They don't have the right structure that can attract funding. And this is what Astute is doing at the moment, having to fix business credibility because the government wants to be able to track your source of wealth. It's why they are giving you money to start the business. But your credit profile is nothing to write home about. There are businesses in these regions, they can't even open a main street bank, a traditional bank. They have to work with a fintech bank because that's what's available to them. Because they've built the wrong structure around the business. What am I saying? Culture has a way. As we grow as a people, we need to unlearn certain things and learn, relearn. Learning doesn't stop. Most when you come from an environment that is well challenged. Mr. Tosin, you need to roll up your sleeve and train your workforce. You're just giving out excuses. Because if I was in that platform, you can't answer my questions. You are a Nigerian as well. You know the problems that are prevalent. You have a role to play as an employer. And if you fix the system, if you fix those people, if you train those people, you will have the best workforce ever to compete anywhere in the world. Don't kid yourself. You see those other people that you want to employ, there are good talent, I don't doubt. I've had to work with tech guys that are in our region and outside of the region, and I came back to the region. I know what I'm saying. I have worked with different people, and why I can tell you what I am telling you. I am not telling you someone's story, I am telling you my experience. Let's do better as a people. We rise up to their occasion. That's what is required of us. We already have what we have. We can't change that. Why brood over what you can't even change? What is the way forward for you? What is the way forward? We have to fix the foundation. And to fix the foundation, the responsibility is on us to fix it. I'm not coming out there to wash our dirty linen. Yes, your workforce is terrible. Oh, I hear. 2025, you cried. You should, as you should. Because if you fixed it, you won't be crying that cry. You will tell another story. You will tell another story. Let's do better as a people. We hear that they buy buses, right? City boys. You have that kind of money to invest in what? and you could not invest it in any educational system. You couldn't say, okay, all the people from my state, please stop paying school fees. It's our value system. It's our value system. If we cry that our leaders are bad today, we, the young ones coming up, are the next set of leaders. If we are not intentional to fix the issues, how then do we think we can be better than the leaders we currently have? It's easy to cast the stone and cast aspersions. It's very easy. But you wait until it's your turn. If you don't hold the right values, it will do worse. Right. I hope a word is enough to say. But again, this is about the foundation. We'll talk about accountability when I have the time. The rules of action, inaction, and omission. What role do you have to play? How accountable are you? Can you raise up your hand to say, oh, yes, I did that? Can you be honest? Can you be accountable to the things that you've done? And then, of course, self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. A lot of us are involved in self-sabotage, and it is why we are not amounting to what we want to become, because we tell ourselves that we are not good enough. You tell yourself that, oh, you think evil of the next person. Is self-sabotaging. When you think evil of the next person, you are not brooding your heart. You are not having the right, you're not cultivating the right mindset to do good, and you want to see good. You go to work and you pull the plug of your colleagues, you pull the plug of your colleague's computer because nobody saw you. You are a saboteur. We have self-sabotaged ourselves enough. When you blame others as opposed to blaming self, you were self-sabotaging you. And who reaps the reward? It's you. Your parents, they've done what they need to do. All right? If you say because your parents didn't take you to a good school, it is why you can't amount to be someone else, you just self-sabotaged yourself. Not your parents. You are now an adult, so you can do better. But when you choose not to do better, that's on you. Hopefully we can find a good time to be able to talk about the other two criteria, the other two categories. But for those who really want to learn, if you have seen the Engineering Academy and you want to be part of that institution, go for it. You have yourself to thank. You pick up the right values, you pick up the right system. There's something I was going to say, but I won't share now. It's going to come to us. But it's about value system, and we're going to be doing that. Sometimes when you don't know your rights, you are self-sabotaging you. You have to know your right as well, right? You have to know your right as well. When you don't, it's self-sabotage. See, if I'm going to talk about all three, we would stay here the entire day. We still need to talk about them, but I have to go anyway. All right, let's have a good one, everybody. And hopefully we can have another session very soon. But thank you for those who joined the live session. If you want to forward it to Tinubu, please go ahead and forward it to him. If you want to tag him, please tag him. If you want to tag your leaders, please, team, I need you to tag Mr. Tosin. Actually, speaking of Mr. Tosin, he was someone I had penned down I was going to write to. This is a good time that he brought himself out. And if he's in London, if you are in London, Mr. Tosin, anytime you are in London, if you would want to take up this opportunity, I'd like to have a word with you. Right. Thank you everyone for joining.